Welcome to this segment of Plugged In with BrokerPro. Today, I'm joined by Josh Asbury, COO of Infinity Software Solutions, the team behind BrokerPro TMS. We're diving into BrokerPro AI, powered by CloneOps AI, and how this partnership is embedding AI directly into the TMS to automate carrier sourcing, check calls, tracking, and collections without adding another system. Before we get started, Josh, how are you?
Alan, I'm doing great. And thank you for having me. I'm really looking forward to this plugged in segment. I'm excited to talk about this. Because BrokerPro AI is our newest release. It's our attempt at addressing some very hard needs inside the freight brokerage space. AI is obviously everywhere right now, but for freight brokers, the practical question that we're trying to answer, and I think we've done so with BrokerPro AI, is how do freight brokers use it to save time inside the workflows that their teams use every day? And so, that's what we're doing with CloneOps. BrokerPro has always been focused on helping freight brokers run their operations. We've been in business for over 25 years now. We kind of know brokerage operations, right? So what we want to do is answer the practical question of how can automation brought directly inside of the TMS help them be more efficient and save money and save time. And that's what we've done with BrokerPro AI and CloneOps.
Let's dive right in. So freight brokers, they don't have a shortage of tools, but they do have a shortage of time. So before BrokerPro AI, what were teams or some of your customers struggling with?
Yeah, so brokerages have plenty of tools since the boom of freight tech, 6+ years ago. The number of tools that brokerages have can solve practically any problem. The problem, though, with all these different tools is that the work is still pretty manual. A rep may be covering a load inside of BrokerPro. They'd be calling carriers, sending emails, checking tracking updates, updating notes, following up with customers, and then I've got to get paid, so I've got to move on to collections or back office communication, all this. So they have all these different things, right? So the tools exist, but the human still has to coordinate everything. So what we're doing is we're structuring this so that brokers don't need to leave the TMS. We want to make it so that you have one screen and you have all these different operations and agents that kick off for you automatically, so that you don't need to do all this manual context switch and moving back and forth to different applications.
That's the dream. So let's break it down. How does BrokerPro AI actually work?
Yeah, so it's the most important thing, and this has been our driving mantra since we began work on BrokerPro AI, is that this is not yet another disconnected AI product. We're trying to make the experience feel native. The user doesn't need to feel like they're leaving BrokerPro to go use an AI tool. The AI needs to show up where the work is already happening, and that's inside the TMS. So in BrokerPro, we have the operational context. We have the load, the carrier, the customer, the appointment status, receivable. We have all this information, right? CloneOps provides the AI agents that can take action on repetitive communication. So BrokerPro brings together that communication so the flow can happen in the TMS. Agents take off, they do their thing, and the results can come back directly inside of BrokerPro.
That makes sense. So what does it look like then when a load needs to be covered, and where does AI step in within BrokerPro AI?
Yeah, so brokers working a load inside of BrokerPro, and instead of manually working through every outreach step, BrokerPro AI can assist with carrier sourcing communication. And the important part is that the context starts inside the TMS. The AI knows what it is helping with because it's connected to the broker's operational workflow. It's not sitting off to the side as a generic chatbot. So it knows all the things about the load. It knows how the broker operates. It knows about the calls that need to be made, or what carrier sourcing looks like even. Are they tied into highway? Are they what are their different systems that they use to do carrier onboarding and fraud prevention and detection and things like that. So the goal is not to remove the broker from the process. The goal is to remove the repetitive coordination that slows them down. So the broker can focus on exceptions, on building relationships, handling pricing, and decisions that actually require judgment.
Makes sense. And then how are those conversations, whether they're calls or updates, texts or emails, how are they captured and then reflected back into BrokerPro?
And this is really cool. And this is actually one of the most important parts of the experience. If AI makes a call, sends a text, sends an email, receives an update, whatever, that activity does not disappear into a separate tool. That data is reflected back inside of BrokerPro. So the brokerage has a single source of truth. And frankly, Alan, I mean, that's why part of the big reason of why embedded AI matters. The value isn't that just the AI can communicate. That's great. That's amazing. But the value is really that the communication becomes part of the operational record that strengthens the overall system. So we have this data that AI is capturing. It's not lost. It becomes part of the framework of the data that's collected for the freight brokerage themselves.
Yeah, I think what really resonates to me with what you just said is the connectivity of data, right? So the brokers already working within BrokerPro TMS. Now the AI agents have access to the data. They're staying in the same operating system that they're used to doing work out of. And now their systems are autonomously either doing calls or sending text or sending data back into the TMS and updating records. Josh, can you take us for a spin? Show us what it looks like?
Yeah, this is really cool, and let me show you. It's there's a lot of talk with all of this, and I'd just love to show you really just how this matters. So let me pull up my. So this is the BrokerPro load list, and you can see these are all active loads. And this is a trial demo environment, so the data is all kind of trial demo data. But let's take a look at this load. And you'll see here on this screen, there's a few things I want to call out. One is this dedicated BrokerPro AI button, but also you'll see here the BrokerPro AI scheduling and BrokerPro AI event log. We'll talk about these in a second, but let's just say for this load, I want to do a check call. So here's, with one button, I can just click send an in-transit check call. And now what's going to happen is it's going to call the driver of that load, which I have set up on my phone. So we'll give it just a second to route and make that phone call. And here it is.
Wanted to check in with you, Josh, on how it's going with your load here. Mainly looking to snag a quick current location and ETA. How's everything rolling along?
Hey, David, things are going great. Weather here in Hamilton, Ohio is phenomenal. Hit a bit of a traffic backup around Middletown. I-75 is always I-75, but yeah, we're rolling. I mean, my ETA on probably about, if everything goes well through Cincinnati, should be there in about, let's call it 90 minutes.
All right, Josh, appreciate the update. Just so we're on the same page here, you're currently in Hamilton, Ohio, and if all goes smoothly through Cincinnati, you're estimating to get to your destination around 12:30 p.m. local time. That sound about right?
That's correct.
Got it. Thanks for that, Josh. I'll note all this down for the team. Appreciate your time, and you stay safe out there.
Thanks.
Take care.
Thanks, buddy. So what just happened here is, I was just speaking with this agent. It's very personable. We can customize the voices, we can customize things. But just very quickly, that call happened. I told as the driver, I'd give them my status. I told them where I was. And look here, all of a sudden, here in this BrokerPro AI event log, we had the call. We had notes of the call. There were no issues reported. He anticipates arriving in approximately 90 minutes. No additional needs were expressed by Josh during the conversation. The AI takes those notes for you automatically. So your team is off doing other things, and the AI is out making these phone calls, getting those status updates, and putting it directly inside the TMS. Now, again, we kick this one off manually, but these can all happen with different events and scheduled events inside the system. So, if we need to have a dispatch confirmation, we click that on the load inside the TMS. We can have in-transit tracking calls, obviously, stops and arrivals, document collection if I need a POD after the final stop has occurred. All that happens automatically. So that time right there is saved saved by your freight brokers, and you get the benefit of recorded calls and transcripts. So you have the notes taken, which your humans, God bless them, are not doing.
Josh, this is impressive. Tell me a little bit more of why was it so important to you and the team to have embedded AI instead of a bolted on or separate tooled solution?
Because adoption's everything, Alan. And if we can cook this into their workflow, just like what you saw here, people who are using BrokerPro TMS, they know our load list, they know what a load looks like, they know the system. They don't have to do anything other than click off these phone calls, right? So we want, if AI requires a new platform, it requires new ways of thinking, that just creates friction and that risks adoption. And we want our customers to become more efficient. And how are they going to become more efficient? By actually using the AI that we've cooked into the system. So that's why it's been so important to us that this is truly seamless inside the TMS.
Wonderful. And this is live. So what are you hearing from some of your customers or maybe early adopters who are using these agents today?
Yeah, I mean, first off, the interest has been off the charts. And what we found is with the majority of our customers, let me restate this. Everybody is interested in AI. Very few people actually know what to do. The drumbeat of AI has been happening for a few years now, and you can't go to a TIA conference without everything being about AI. But our customers are like, yeah, that's great. How can I actually use this? How will it truly make me more efficient? So when they see that they don't really have to change the way their workflows, that this is an additive technology. It adds into their efficiency, that they don't have to train 20, 30, 40 reps on a whole new system. They're like, sign me up. And so what we've been seeing, so the adoption has been phenomenal. The interest has been off the charts, and we're seeing that people are just really excited by the way that we've implemented this. And so, yeah, I mean, we're still early in the game, and this is very new. And so we're going to learn from our customers, and we're going to keep adding. We're going to keep adding in more capabilities. We're going to keep adding in more agents. And what we have today, I think, is really cool. What we're going to have in 6 months, as soon as we start getting more and more feedback from customers and adding more and more capabilities and agents, it's going to be absolutely ridiculously cool.
If this is the beginning, I'm excited to continue following along the journey and see where you're at within the next 3, 6, 12 months. So, Josh, as we start to wrap up, is BrokerPro AI available to all BrokerPro customers today?
It is. It's available today. In fact, we had a conversation with one of our long-term customers last week, and he was asking, like, okay, so what do we need to do? And I said, well, all we need to do is configure this and turn you on, and you can be live and working in a week. So and that speaks to, I think, the efficiency gain. So you're not making this a massive upfront investment and then hoping that you get value out of this over the course of the next 3, 6, 12 months. We can get you up and rolling very, very quickly. So yeah, it's available now, and this isn't going to be a months-long process in order to use AI inside of your brokerage.
And what are the best next steps if someone wanted to learn more or get activated? Who do they need to go to, or who do they talk to?
Yeah, the easiest thing is just email sales@brokerpro.com, and one of our team members will get back with you. You can email me directly, josh@brokerpro.com. If you're an existing BrokerPro customer watching this, you know our team really well. You know how responsive we are. You know how to get in touch with. We have Forrest, Luke, Jamie, Nine. We have this great core team. Just reach out. And we'll get you handled.
Perfect. And this is what Plugged In is all about. It's showing how partnerships like BrokerPro TMS and BrokerPro AI and CloneOps.ai bring real automation directly into the workflows that brokers rely on every day. So thank you all for joining on this segment. And Josh, thank you so much for your partnership and your time. We appreciate you, my friend.
Thank you, Alan. Really excited by our partnership and looking forward to seeing all the cool things we can do together.
All right, until next time.